Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, Episode 9. This is the one I'm reviewing the 48th episode of the My Hero Academia, which is also the 10th episode of this particular season, The Symbol for Peace. And of course, I'm also going to talk about the 186th chapter of the manga. Excuse me. This episode is an adaptation of chapters, 89 and 91 of the manga. Yep. And with this one picks up right where the last episode left off with the Darth Vader of the My Hero Academia franchise, All for One. How creepy this guy is with his life support mask he wears. He's very intimidating, and his ability is All for One, which is also his code name, and the fact he steals people's abilities. He takes the League of Villains from the previous episode, brings to his location, and then, of course, they bring Bakuto as well. And, of course, now, Deku, Ingenium, Creati, and Shoto and Harden are there. They didn't directly, they don't do much in the episode until, like, that comes with a very brilliant plan. How they get involved without fighting. Yeah, simply you have Shudo. First you have Deku with Ingenium being held by Harden, who just basically uses his All for One ability to launch him in the air, and having Shudo basically shoot high as he can go, and of course having Harden, who's basically become good friends with Bakuto, tells him to jump up, and of course he does, grabs his hand, and of course gets away. And even probably All Might's probably impressed the fact that even though these kids are not legally allowed to take on any villains, well, rescuing the friend is perfectly fine. Yep, just saving him, and yeah, and of course the Warp villain, who's basically still unconscious as the last episode, yeah, his ability is forced to be used, and his warp gates opened up, and he pretty much remains unconscious the whole episode. Yep, and of course the Magnet people try to get a couple. One of them be launched in the air, and of course they're stopped by a mountain lady of all people. Oh, and also her, along with, it was Best Genius and Gran Torito, who had Nemu Factory in the last episode. How they managed to survive the attack by All Might was having Best Genius use his clothing ability to launch them away, which got praised for that. And then somehow, just by sheer coincidence, she just happened to go giant size. At the very moment, one of the villains, Twist, was being launched in the air, and this Twist hit her in the face. Yeah, blocking her ability, blocking her from getting to Bakuto and the rest of the kids. Yeah, Creati didn't do very much this whole entire thing. It's like she was completely left out exactly what she was going to do. Shudo got a chance to do something, which was nice. Endeavor got a chance to beat some people up, just kill some Nemu, and tells All Might to go after them, and of course Gran Torino comes with him too. Yeah, and of course the episode ends with All for One mentioning All Might's predecessor, and of course All Might also crushes part of his mask that covers the top half of his face. Yeah, I'm wondering how the heck this guy see did when he got punched by All Might, did he lose one eye? Who knows? We'll find out in the next episode. But this was a fantastic episode with lots of action, and yeah, pretty much like half the heroes who were assembled a couple episodes back, yeah, they're pretty much all knocked out, somewhat anyways. Half of them anyways. But this was a great episode, and it's almost done, this particular arc. Now I looked it up. This arc lasted until chapter 97. There's exactly 6 more chapters left to go for this particular arc. Yep, so if they do what they've been doing for this entire arc, where they start first episode where they do 2 chapters and started with the second one onwards doing just 3 episodes apiece, you can just do this in just 6 episodes. Yep, so in just 2 more episodes, that's when this arc will be finished up, which when they finish this particular arc, it'll be the 12th episode of this season, plus also the 50th episode of the entire series. And as for the hero licensing arc, it's probably going to do the same thing. This is just a theory, where it'll start off doing 2 episodes, and then now this season is supposed to last 24 episodes, and so far it looks like in just the first 2 episodes, they recovered 2 arcs. Now the next arc is basically 17 chapters. So this one probably would not be 6 episodes. No. My personal guess is this particular arc will be a little bit longer. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's 17 episodes. Let me look it up on here, just to be sure. I want to be sure about this particular thing, where how long next arc is supposed to be. Because this arc, they are recovered in just like 3 episodes. They've already covered at least. Let's see. This arc started with chapter 84, I think it was. Because I know this arc is roughly like 14 chapters, so yeah. It started at 84 and now up to 91. So, yeah, in just 3 episodes, they were like 8 chapters. Yep. Yeah, and the following arc is definitely 17 chapters. So, yeah. It is, in fact, 17 chapters overall for the next arc, which probably could take up the remaining episodes this entire season. That's just my personal guess anyways. But overall, fantastic episode. Now on to the newest chapter, Endeavor and Hawks. Yep. Let's see if I can get to... Let's see here. Okay. First starts off with this particular guy's quirk is embarrassment. Yeah, this guy is a flasher. He's just taken out very quickly. And of course, Endeavor and Hawks just walking through town. Hawks using his ability to save like a dog, stop a flasher, going through fan service, and of course Endeavor. He says, "Come on now, you don't have to be afraid of me." He says, "No, you got it wrong." What? And the kid's like, "What's wrong?" Endeavor doesn't need fan service. Your low of attitude is what makes you cool. He's like, he's changed all of a sudden. He's like, I was wrong. And then we see Endeavor and Hawks just having a meal, and it turns out the whole reasoning is just to solve a bunch of rumors. He says, "Give me the check, I'm leaving." He says, "Nope, let's just investigate these rumors." Yeah, and they pretty much just talk for most of the chapter. And then we see particular guys show up. Then we see Nemu show up. And yeah, it's like, and of course Endeavor just says come. The chapter ends with "Come, I'll show you what number 1 looks like." Yeah, this was a pretty interesting chapter per se. Pretty quick one, mind you. Just, yeah, like I said, with this, like the summary of this particular chapter is just Endeavor and Hawk just walking through a street while Hawk just stops a couple random, stops a criminal, saves a dog, have meal, talk about Nemu, and then the other chapter, oh yeah, there's Nemu. Yeah, pretty decent chapter. I kind of like it. It was pretty interesting. I don't mind chapters like this, because the fact that Endeavor is such an interesting character, I like him. He's not my personal favorite per se, but I think with this particular chapter, maybe a little more interesting than he was at the beginning. Yeah, even the anime. Patrick Stoltz himself does a fantastic job playing the character in the anime, and I look forward to what they do with him in the future, because I also like the fact in the manga they're giving him more to do now, because for the past like 3 chapters we have it where Endeavor is kind of the star of the series. Yeah, he's the star of this new arc, which has only been going on for 3 chapters, and this is probably the first chapter in a little while where none of the kids, Deku or any of the other characters, show up in this chapter. Just Endeavor. Yeah, just Endeavor, kind of like an Endeavor solo story, but a team up one with new character. So overall, I'm gonna give this chapter roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's a good chapter, and this one kind of felt like setup for the next particular chapter. That's what this chapter pretty much was, setup. And it's only just the 3rd chapter of this arc. Yes, it's only the 3rd chapter, because It was just 2 chapters back when it announced Endeavor being the new #1 hero and Hawks being #2. And of course, the last chapter was them basically interacting with each other, and of course, the speeches what happened last chapter. This one takes place now, like not like with last chapter where it picked up like right where the previous chapter left. This one looks like a little bit of time. I'd say probably just next day. Yeah, that's probably what the way it looks for this particular chapter. It's pretty much the next day or two after that particular ceremony. But it's odd though to see the main character absent for a chapter, though not the first time. In the previous arc, he wasn't in a lot of the previous arc. As a matter of fact, he missed a lot. I think he missed like half the arc. He wasn't even the main character of the arc. It focused on one of the lower characters, which is fine. And I like the fact Endeavor's getting a time to shine in this particular series after basically not doing very much for most of the series up to this particular point. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, probably next week, which will be episode 10, and covering the 49th episode of the anime and the 187 chapters of manga for this particular series. Okay, but until I see you on my next video, bye.